So we are going to be adding a little image over here on the right-hand side of our report header. And the image is just going to be a little logo graphic. And they do want us to make this report header section a little bit bigger. Let's just drag this down to about the 1-inch mark. And then we're going to use the Insert Image button. Click right in here. And if it's dimmed, like mine was, it's because you didn't have a section selected. So once you click in a section, the button is bold-faced and you can select it. So we're going to go ahead and browse, and we're going to go to our AL2C5 folder. And this RSR logo is what we want. And what we're going to do is kind of drag it from the 6-inch mark over to about 7.5, and then we'll go down about 1 inch. So we're just kind of encompassing that space. And if you need to resize it after, you have sizing handles that you can use. And what we're going to do next is select our title, go into Format and Bold. And then we're going to draw a line below our title. So we're going to go back to Design. And the book says to click on More, but I don't need to because I can actually see the line command, and that is the one I want to use. And I'm going to click on it and turn it on. I'm going to start right below the first letter. I'm going to press Shift while I left drag, and that should give me a nice straight line. And then when I release the left button, I will actually see the line. Make sure you press Shift, and then you should get a nice straight line. We are going to be adjusting the thickness of the line by going into our Format ribbon. And you'll see the shape outline is bold because it knows you have a line. And under Line Thickness, we are going to choose 3-point. Now with that line still selected, we are going to also adjust the color. And the color we want is Blue-Gray Accent 3. So it's the 7th column, first row. And you're not actually going to see that until you click away. So once we click away, you should be able to see that you've got the color in there. Now, if it's not the right size, you just click on it. And when you see double-headed arrow, you can left drag and adjust the size. And now they have changed their mind. They would like the line thickness to be, oh, actually they haven't. They want another line. This one is going to go below our column headings. And this one is going to have a width of 2. So I'm going to have to make this section just a little bigger. And we go into Design, turn that on. We'll start flush with the left side, shift and drag. And actually, I'm going to go all the way to the end here. And I'm going to nudge it up with my arrow key. For this one, it's going to be the similar color, but the width is not going to be quite as thick. So go down to Line Thickness and change it to 2. And for the color, we will pick the same thing. And once you've got that in there, then you're going to want to resize that section again. We are not done formatting yet. What we are going to do is basically select all of our labels here in the page header section. And we're going to change the font size to 12. And we're going to apply a color of blue-gray accent 3, darker 50%. Well, there it is. I know, let me undo. That should be a font color. Yeah. There we go. That looks much better. Make sure you choose font and not fill. Now, once you change the font size, the color doesn't really matter, but the size does matter. Quite often things get chopped off, and you can kind of see that with work order. So we do need to make that a little bit wider. And then once we widen these up, we can take a look over in report view. That one will be okay. Let's save it, and we will go take a look. Okay, and we're just right now looking at the column headings, making sure we can see them. Should see our line below the title and our little graphic that we added. So let's go back into design view. Now the last little adjustment they want in page header is to, I'm going to resize work order date, and they also want that moved to about 4.5. And I'll resize the data portion as well. And let me save that. We'll take a look. Oh, not big enough. Let's go back. I have to make that just a touch bigger. Nope. So this does not work quite as well as they would want us to believe. All right. So if we start with 4.5, it's going to overlap with description. I don't think we want to make description smaller. So we are not going to put it at 4.5. You have to make an adjustment and you don't quite have it at 4.5. That is fine. Those hashtags are not fine, and having it overlap is not fine either. You're just going to get it to look as good as you can, given the limitations that we are working with. I'm actually going to move these back over. I kind of like them where they were. Now, they also want us to kind of fill in the background here for the report header with white. So instead of gray, it'll display white. So you basically just click in this section. You don't want to really click on anything in particular. And then we're going to go to Format and Fill, and we're just going to choose white. And for all of our text box controls, we are going to add a border style. So these would be the controls that are in the detail section. I'm just shifting and clicking on all of them. And we're going to go into the property sheet. And right now it's showing me the properties for those text box controls. So we are in the property sheet in the Format tab. And if you scroll down, you should see the border. We get a border style of solid. It's got a back color set to background. And what they would like is for the style to be transparent. So we're going to click in the line, and then that gives us a list arrow. Click the list arrow and choose transparent. That actually removes the borders around those that detail area. Now with those controls still selected, we are going to change the floor color property. Where is that? I'm not sure if you notice, but it does group similar information together, which is kind of helpful. We've got the floor color. Let's click in here. And then if you click the list arrow, we've got some themes. Okay. Or you can actually click on the 3 periods and get your colors. And so what we want is black. Now we're going to widen a couple of these individually. We're going to select work order date. Let's click away, click on work order date. And they would like this to have a width of 1.4. Okay, so down under width, it says 1, we are changing it to 1.4. Now if yours says a different number, that's fine. No matter what it says, just change it to 1.4. For the description, we're changing it to 2.25. So it does not matter what it currently says. We are changing it to 2.25. And I'm going to actually have to move mine over because mine is probably too long. Yep, because it moved my report, which I didn't want. Let's see. Yeah, so kind of watch that if you are over to the right. You might want to move your controls in a little bit before you give that command to widen up that text box control. And let's save this and go into report view. And right away you should notice that you no longer have those borders around all of the data. So at this point, if everything looks good, you can close the report. If you see any problems, and problems would be things like your data is chopped off or you see the hashtags everywhere, you are going to want to fix those. Whoop. Yeah, let me go back over to design view. I'm going to move work order date over just a little bit. I just don't like it smashed up against description. That's kind of my own personal quirk. I think that looks a lot better. And at this point, I will save and close.